Hello, good afternoon. This is David Soto talking to you, and today is my weekly trade predictions of the major Forex currency pairs for the upcoming trading week of August 12th through August 16th, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you my predictions based on what has happened in the past week for each of these currency pairs, and then I'm going to compare different time frames and trying to give you a really good analysis on what I think is going to happen this coming week for all these major pairs, and to give you the best advantage, okay, in your trading. Okay, now to begin with, I want to look at all these pairs real quick, and I want to show you something that all these have in common, okay, for this past week. Now for this past week, we see Euro USD has literally been running in a flat range of market, like in a sideways manner, right? And if we look at pound USD, we see almost the same thing. It has dropped off some, which means the US dollar gained strength a little bit. But we look at Australian dollar, US dollar, we kind of see the same thing. The market ended the week the same place it began, okay? And if we look at USD, Swiss franc, US dollar, Swiss franc, same thing. It's running in a sideways manner. We have a lot of ups and downs, and the US dollar Japanese yen almost the same, and the US dollar Canadian dollar almost the same. So all these pairs pretty much ended right where they started at the week from last week. Okay, now the nice thing about a flat range of market is that it is an excellent time to trade. If you use like a 15-minute chart, you can get a lot of pips, because if you buy on one arrow and close on the other arrow, you're going to have a lot of profit, and you get many trade opportunities within that 1 week. Okay, so versus a flat range versus a range of market, a trending market. Well, if you have an uptrend or downtrend, you can catch a lot of pips as well, but if the market is trending, you really need to use a higher time frame, okay, like a 4-hour or daily. So anyways, let's look at Euro USD, okay? And if we look at the higher time frames, let's see what's going to happen this coming week, okay? Now we see that this has already been steadily going up, but this past week caught this a level of resistance, right? And it's been ranging. And what's happening is that this is not finished going up. If we look at the daily, okay, we see we have up arrow here, and it just stalled out, right? If we look at the weekly, same thing, okay? It's just starting to go into an uptrend, all right? So long term, this is definitely going to be going up. Now, for this coming week, we probably, more than likely, will see more of a range of market, okay? You know, it's hard to say at this point, but what I think is going to happen, look at some of the smaller time frames, I think this is going to continue ranging, probably for like Monday and Tuesday, and then eventually it's going to shoot up, okay? You're definitely going to see a surge in this. And if we look at pound USD, the next one, we see kind of the same story, okay? We had a long downtrend, but it's hit a strong level of support, meaning it's going to be going up. If we look at the daily, same thing, and the weekly even, okay? Now, what's nice about this weekly is if you look, you have an up arrow here, and you have an up arrow here. And this right here is what an all-time low for the Great British Pound, okay? So I feel strongly that this is definitely going to be going back up very soon. So expect pound USD to be going up. Probably it might shoot down a little more in the beginning of the week, maybe for Monday or Tuesday, I don't know. But by the middle of the week, you should see a big surge, and you see this shoot up. And now Australian dollar, US dollar is kind of the same. We see here it has been ranging, right? Moving in a sideways fashion, according to the 15-minute chart for this past week. But if we look at the H4, let me shift the chart. If we look at that 4-hour chart, we see that it has hit this area of resistance, and it started to come down slightly, but pretty much formed like a range of market, right? So it stalled out, but we can predict that this is definitely going to be going back up, because like the 1 hour is showing down, but if we look at some of the smaller time frames, it's getting ready to come back up. Like the 15-minute chart has this area of support here, so to me it's definitely getting ready to go back up. Okay, if we look at the daily, it's showing up, and the weekly even is showing that it wants to go up. Okay, so it's hitting a very, very low point right now, and on the weekly it's already starting to come back up. So long term, I would expect this to be going up a few thousand points in the next 2 weeks. So if you want, I would definitely place a buy trade and just hold it for long term. Okay, even if you have some initial drawdown, you can get a massive amount of pips if you hold this for like another week or two. Okay, now looking at US dollar Swiss franc, you're going to kind of see the opposite effect. This past week we see a range of market, right? It's moving a lot of highs and lows, but it's moving in a sideways fashion. You kind of see, right? So this is okay. This is excellent for trading, and you get a lot of pips this way. But if you look at the H4, it shows up, right? And the daily also. But what's interesting is that according to the weekly and monthly, it's showing to go into a downtrend. Okay, so the bigger the time frame, the stronger the trend. Okay, the long-term trend. So the long-term trend, the bigger trend is bearish. It's bearish, meaning it's going to be going down. So do not expect a big surge in the US dollar. Okay, what I see right now, okay, if we look right here on the daily chart, we draw a downtrend right here. Okay, kind of like this. All right, this is not 100% perfect. What we can expect is for this to go back up towards this support line and shoot back down even further. Okay, so I think it's going to happen, and the US dollar is always the strongest currency in the world, but it cannot go up forever. I think this will go up this week, and it's going to hit at some level of resistance probably towards like Thursday or Friday and shoot back down. Okay, so for this week we can expect the US dollar to go up slightly, but probably more than likely it's going to form a range of market because all the other currencies are also fighting. Okay, and everybody is trying to gain position right now. Okay, and the US dollar overall has actually weakened. So long term, we can expect the US dollar Swiss franc to be going down. All right, so looking at USD Japanese yen, we see kind of the same effect. It ended pretty much where it started, and it's been in a range of market. Now if we look at the H4 and the daily, we see that it's definitely wanting to go into uptrend, right? And like I've always said in other videos, the US dollar Japanese yen, most of the time, not always, but most of the time, has an opposite or inverse effect from the US dollar Swiss franc. So if the US dollar Swiss franc is going down, the US dollar Japanese will be going up. Now the US dollar has weakened a lot, and these both have actually dropped. But we should see a surge, definitely see a surge in the US dollar Japanese yen, okay, in the coming days. So what I think, there's no buy signal here on the weekly, but I think we will see a buy signal pop up. But we see a buy signal already right here. So we know we're in an area that is a strong level of support and we'll be bouncing back up, right? So in my opinion, this US dollar Japanese yen is excellent to buy, okay? The US dollar Swiss franc, I don't know 100%. It is okay to buy, I think, but I would be looking for sell opportunities only because the long term trend is bearish. Unlike the US dollar Japanese yen, where the long term trend is bullish. Okay. Now, looking at US dollar Canadian dollar, this is kind of interesting also because these two have been fighting the gain position as well. And you see, we had this long up at the beginning of the week. We had this nice little uptrend, and then towards the middle of the week, it dropped and tapered off, right? And if we look at the larger time frames, we see that the U.S. dollar is definitely wanting to go down, right? The daily shows up, but the weekly and the monthly show it wants to go down. Okay, so it's kind of a mixed analysis, but overall this is definitely going to be bearish. I would not be trying to buy US dollar Canadian dollar. I would definitely be looking for sell opportunities. Even on the daily right here, you see it. You clearly see this already dropping, okay? Meaning that it has hit a strong level of resistance and it's starting to come back down. And what we can do is you could draw a trend line right here, okay? What might happen with this is it's going to drop in the beginning of the week and then retrace back up and come back up towards this trend line again, okay? That's what I think will happen, okay? It's going to drop. If I draw a horizontal line right here, you can expect this to drop and come back up and touch this trend line. Now, will it break this trend line and form a new uptrend? I seriously doubt it. I think it's going to break this support and keep going down further. And it's going to follow this trend line into a downtrend. Okay? So, overall, the US dollar is going to be dropping, okay? Going to the long term. Except for the US dollar Japanese yen, which should be going up long term. Okay? Now, if the US dollar is going to be dropping, that means that Euro USD and Pound USD are going to be going up. Okay? So expect Euro USD, Pound USD, and AUD USD to be going up, and US dollar Swiss franc and US dollar Canadian dollar to be dropping. Okay, the opposite. All right. So anyhow, that is my trade predictions for the week. If you have any questions about my analysis, or if you have a question about another currency pair, any of these currency pairs, please contact me on Facebook and just let me know what your question is, okay? Just ask me about a currency pair and I can give you my analysis on what I think is going to happen. But also, I would like to hear your analysis on what you think is going to happen this week, okay? So please feel free to share your analysis, your thoughts and opinions with me. You can contact me on Facebook. There is a link below in the description of this video for my private Facebook. Also, there is a link below for my private Facebook group, and you can post any questions or comments in my Facebook group. That way everybody can have an open discussion and we can all kind of collaborate and learn from each other, okay? And all become better traders by being able to analyze and study this market, okay? So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me and I'll be more than happy to help you. Thank you and have a wonderful day.